Welcome back to another Wildlife Wednesday. In case you haven't noticed, it is hot in Montana. If you're like me, the heat can make you a little sluggish and cranky, but for the fish in our streams and rivers, this heat can be downright lethal. As spring snowmelt and runoff ends, water levels drop and water temperatures rise. If temperatures in the water get above 70 degrees or so, fish like trout, who rely on cold water to survive, become extremely stressed. Higher water temperatures means less oxygen in the water, which makes it harder for fish to breathe. The warm temperature also causes fish to group up in deep pools that tend to stay cooler. This makes them more susceptible to disease and predation. If we aren't careful to protect fish during these vulnerable times, it can have a big effect on their populations. That's where our fisheries division comes in. So Eric, how do you work to protect these fish during these high temperatures?
We know that high temperatures like we're seeing now can be very stressful for fish. So to reduce that stress, we may implement fishing closures to prevent fishing during the high stress times, or we may implement fishing restrictions such as hoot owl restrictions, which restricts fishing to only the cool times of the day when it's less stressful for fish.
So why are they called hoot owl restrictions? Well, the term actually comes from loggers back in the early 1900s who would work early in the morning to avoid the heat and fire hazards that came with long afternoons. They would often hear owls hooting during their early morning shifts. It is important to remember that our agency does not implement restrictions on all your favorite streams and fishing spots. When it's this hot out, ultimately it's your responsibility to keep an eye on conditions and to ensure that if you're going to catch and release a fish, that it will survive. Remember, Montana's lakes, rivers, and fishing access sites offer all kinds of different recreational opportunities. Take out a paddleboard, try out some birding, or just go for a swim. The fish will still be here once it cools off, and thanks to responsible anglers, they'll be as healthy and hungry as ever.